Welcome everybody to Cinephrauds. I'm Heather McLaren. I'm here with Anna Rose from the Morning After Girls.
Thank you.
And Andrea Thompson from the Young Folks.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about Wonder Woman. Alright, so first impressions. What did you guys think of the film?
Awesome.
I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it.
DC would be the one to do this and not Marvel.
Right.
Oh, and you know, DC movies have been kind of bad lately.
Right.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
So beyond first impressions, you know, everybody loves their favorite superheroes. We've got, you know, Hugh Jackman as the iconic Wolverine. Do we think that Gal Gadot is living up to sort of Linda Carter as Wonder Woman in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
She was charismatic, she was vulnerable, she was kick-ass, she was sweet, she was tough, she
and
was
as a woman with a
everything.
deep voice, I appreciate that she also has a deep voice. Yes.
She proved she was way more than just a pretty face in this, because that's mostly what she's been up till now, a pretty face.
Placing her within the war, I thought was a really smart choice, instead of just making it a superhero god Hercules movie.
And making it about one of the most senseless wars there was. That
Yeah,
really,
I think that was kind of the point.
that
right?
directly
Yeah.
led to another war that made that look like a tea party.
They
Patty
did.
Jenkins directed this so well. You
She
could,
really
like I
did.
said, you could tell a woman directed this because yeah, the clothings were sexy and everything, but she wasn't objectified. She was filmed really
Everything was
respectfully.
covered. It was still armor and reasonable. It was just really, it was a lot of grace to it.
It would have
really
been
good.
so different if they had a male director.
Right,
like,
there were
in those,
no...
especially
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Especially
costumes.
Zack Snyder.
There would have been
there were no...
a lot of cleavage
right.
and unreal.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that,
It's
but
just
it
for,
should
that's
be
not for this.
yeah.
It's not
it
for
should
this.
be
It's not
all
for this.
about the only thing the character's about.
Right.
Like,
and it
it's not
absolutely
the
wasn't.
point, yeah.
Like, I think there's a reason that some of the most kick-ass empowered heroines lately have been preteen girls. Like,
Right.
from Stranger Things and
That's
like
a really good
the girl
point.
from Logan.
Yeah.
Hollywood doesn't seem to know how to like make adult women superheroes.
Right, without making them objects in a way.
I couldn't believe a woman didn't write this, honestly.
Really? I
Yeah,
actually
a
did
guy-
not realize that.
Yeah, I looked it up on IMDb, and I forget who wrote it, but it was a guy who wrote it.
Huh.
It actually gives me hope.
See, there you go.
You will train her harder than any Amazon before her.
It's been so many years since there's been a female-centered superhero movie. Do you think that now we'll
The
finally
Hunger
start...
Games, maybe?
I mean, that's
That's the
more...
closest
I feel
thing
like
we
YA
can get.
dystopias are kind of a different category.
Yeah,
Like,
but
these
it
big-
still was a
Yeah.
woman-led action movie.
It was. But in
Yeah.
terms of like sort of the traditional DC Marvel, like the fact that they made an Ant-Man movie existed before a Wonder Woman movie existed.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
We didn't need Ant-Man.
Yeah,
It's not a
remember
good
on
movie.
Entourage where they had the guy be in an Aquaman movie because they thought they will never make an Aquaman
Right.
movie?
I'm starved. Let's get out of here.
Vince, we have to do Aquaman.
And now they are.
Talk.
But it just feels like it took a long time to bring Wonder Woman to the screen.
They had Thor.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
I'm wondering, do you think that we'll finally start to see more female superhero movies?
Captain Marvel's coming out soon, and they're talking about a Squirrel Girl movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
I feel like, yeah, I heard about that too.
Up until this time, like, TV has been more where we can find these great female superheroes, like
True.
the Agent Carter, we had Supergirl, and we had Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones was
Three
great. That was really
completely
great.
different women.
Very different
Yeah.
stories.
Very different. So yeah, it seems like that film movies are now catching on.
Well, women are also growing in Hollywood too, so that, you know, that's another reason.
Oh, and there's going to be a Birds of Prey movie with Margot Robbie, female villains
Oh.
and female heroines, and I heard Margot Robbie was set to produce. So
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Definitely the industry has jumped on board with the whole idea of
female empowerment and female-driven characters and female-driven stories and things like that.
And sorry, they got
no
a black female director of a Silver Sable movie. Hollywood looks like it's finally opening up, not just on screen but behind the camera too.
I think the mistake that we might be making with that is segregating it so like this is a female story, this is a female this, and this is a man story. It's just a story and it's just a person.
I never really followed Wonder Woman because Superman just wasn't my favorite. Like, he can do everything and there's not a lot of flaw to him, and that doesn't make it an interesting, dynamic character, whereas, you know, with Spider-Man, Peter Parker is just as interesting, and that, like, makes a good story, and Superman wasn't that for me. He can do laser eyes, he's super strength, he can fly, like, all of these things, and then, like, where's the downfall? Where's the real guy? You don't know a lot about it, and then when you hear about Wonder Woman, it's usually with Superman, and so I just kind of closed the door on that, which sucks, because you want a female superhero.
Right.
And so it was really nice that they didn't make this movie about Superman or throw her in with Superman, because it's great that they have just a Wonder Woman movie.
Yes, definitely. She has a fascinating backstory if you want to read into it. The guy who created her, like, he advocated for, like, female superiority.
Interesting.
And, yeah, I think he was in a relationship, like, they advocated, I think he even advocated for the end of marriage and for women to take over the world, and I think he, like, was in a three-way with two women.
Wait, a three-way relationship?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
William Marston was an incredibly interesting man. He was a famous psychologist. He and his wife helped develop the lie detector test. But he truly believed that women were superior.
In the old posters where she's breaking chains, one of them is like superiority, and another one is prudery. So he's really into like the kink stuff. So those early comic books are really kinky. So I kind of didn't like how by the end the female villain was the only one who was really disfigured and considered ugly, and
that's
she's like staring up in awe like the pretty girl.
All right, so what do we think about Dr. Poison as a character? Because I do not know what I think about her.
I wish I could have known more of her backstory.
Yeah, I mean, that was a character where I honestly was curious as to why it was a woman, though. Because if it was the war, if it was that time, I don't think she would have had that profession.
I'm Steve Trevor's secretary.
What is a secretary?
I go where he tells me to go, and I do what he tells me to do.
Oh, well, where I'm from, that's called slavery.
I really like her.
I felt like it was a reverse prejudice of mine, because it did feel worse to see a woman doing that, preparing to kill so many people. I mean, none of the guys really had to be disfigured. The only real male villain I can think of that's really disfigured in the Marvel universe, too, is, like, the Red Skull.
And that is not a realistic disfigurement in any regard. No. Nobody's skull turns red. That's, and then, like, their skin feels... What the hell was that?
Space magic.
You don't have one of those, do you?
I've gotten kind of upset over how some people have reviewed this movie. Did you hear about the Vulture article?
I did not.
I haven't.
Oh my god. It's like an instructional piece on how not to write about female characters.
What did they do?
Oh, well, he said, sorry, guys, there's none of that S&M kinkiness she had in the early comic books, so yeah. I guess you'll just have to go without that. And he's like, she's an Israeli woman. They're a breed unto themselves.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. Well, basically, he said, and yeah, she has this little crinkle whenever she frowns at something Chris Pine says. Yeah.
What?
It's...
So basically, this dude was very...
She's not a real god, so I am upset.
And he's like, yes, you won't get your sorry guys, but they're not going to appeal to us by not giving us that full money shot. It's with her costumes.
Is that a direct quote that they actually...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's not fantastic.
Yeah, read that Vulture article. I could not believe it. I'm like, this is a major publication. This isn't like a right wing. This isn't a fringe. This is
this is not a random blog or someone on Twitter.
No, this is someone from a
Vulture.
major person at a major site, a major magazine, you know?
This film is it's a superhero movie, and it shouldn't necessarily have to be about the fact that she's female, but so many people are like, I need to view only through that lens.
Trying to make it a girl thing is the biggest mistake you can make.
And only through how she looks as a
right, especially that.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with women being sexy on screen as long as that's not all there is to her.
And that wasn't how she was in this movie. Like, that was definitely
she was
not
obviously beautiful.
Yeah.
It'd be silly if no one commented on that. There was so much more to her.
Right, and to make that your primary...
She had a story.
Yeah.
Well, and even her crew started off as being like, damn, girl, and then was like, wait, where's Diana? Like, we need her.
I heard that the director, Patty Jenkins, fought for that scene in No Man's Land, where she...
That was fantastic.
Such a good scene.
I heard she really had to fight for that.
Wow.
Really? You know, to give her that moment where she says, this is what I'm here to do, I'm gonna do it.
That is one thing I really liked about that movie. There's a lot of people telling her that things are pointless, that the world just is this way, and she doesn't accept it. She's like, no, things can be better, and I'm gonna barrel through and make it better.
Which is fair, though. We are mere humans, and she is a god.
It's
so
true.
Fair enough, but she's just so quick to be involved.
She is.
This movie embraces sincerity unapologetically.
It really does, yeah.
In a way that's so refreshing and not corny. It just says, no, we're not going to be cynical. We're not going to be Suicide Squad. She is good and she's not boring.
You didn't stand your ground. You didn't fight.
Because there was no chance of changing his mind.
This is Ares, and he's not going to allow a negotiation or a surrender.
They do Wonder Woman more justice than Superman. They couldn't seem to do that for Superman.
I mean, the thing with Superman is, I feel
he's
like...
not interesting.
He really isn't interesting.
I suppose.
He's just a guy from Kansas, really, who happens to be an alien. Like, that's his whole deal.
He's supposed to represent the best of us, I guess, in the same way Captain America is.
But they were so desperate to make that a dark story. And it's not, like, it shouldn't be.
Good evening, Officer Mooney. Well, they say confession's good for the soul. I'd listen to this man.
It didn't have that whole, like, we're so grim, we're so dark thing that are so popular, especially in the DC superhero movies.
I believe you.
It was funny. It was funny at a lot of points, and that was really refreshing to me.
Yep, that's not gonna work. Please put the sword down.
It doesn't go with the outfit.
At all.
And to see this movie, and to see a little girl standing in front of the poster, she's dressed up as Wonder Woman. It just gives you the feels. We get that so little. An unapologetically heroic woman who doesn't stumble into it. She doesn't accidentally discover her powers. She sets out. She trains, you know.
She's deeply sure of herself and at every moment of the
Which
plot.
is so good.
It's
because
so
you
good,
want that strong woman being super sure of herself.
Yeah.
Not constantly doubting everything she's doing.
And every moment in the plot, she's the one, like, driving it forward. She's like, I want to train harder. I want to leave the island and solve this war. I want to go to the front. Why are you taking me to London? I want to go find Ares. She's making every choice, and the movie is following her choices rather than, like, things happening kind of around or to her, which I thought was fantastic.
And her just, like, using her powers to figure it out. Like, she definitely led the movie.
Well, I'm glad that we could all discuss this together.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was so cool discussing this with other women who are also in the arts and doing this.